All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BoCC meeting for Tuesday, July 7, 2020. I am John Hutchings, Commissioner Hutchings, the chair of the board. And I see Commissioner Gary Edwards. Is Commissioner Minster not here?
He just joined right now.
Oh, there we go. And the Vice Chair, Commissioner Ty Minster, and our County Manager, Ramiro Chavez, Assistant County Manager, Robin Campbell joined us. I haven't seen anybody else on the Zoom, and I have no idea if anybody has called in.
I have a staff that will be presenting items to you this afternoon, joined by Zoom.
All right. And if anybody should want to join us via conference call, you can dial 360-252-9020, and your PIN is 1234. And with that, I call the meeting to order, and we start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Gary Edwards.
Okay, you join me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
And with that, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
I move to approve agenda for Tuesday, July 7th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Tuesday, July 2nd, 2020 agenda. Any changes, alterations? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Number two, is there a motion for the board meeting minutes?
Move to approve board meeting minutes from June 30th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from June 30, 2020. Any corrections to the minutes?
No.
No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Now we are to agenda item number one, opportunity for the public to address the board. And you'll each have 3 minutes with, I'm sorry?
Go ahead. How many do you have on the list, Commissioner?
One.
We have Mr. Terry Ballard would like to provide testimony as well, and Mr. Petrich. You have both of them in there?
I do.
Okay.
I do now. I just put Terry on. Okay. So you have 3 minutes. You're not allowed to donate your time to another participant. We ask, please be respectful, nothing defamatory or derogatory. And the clerk of the board, Amy, will control the timer. You will see it in the boardroom there. And it starts at 3 minutes and counts down to 1. And then your time's up when it gets to 0. And Ramiro will please talk about no electioneering.
Yeah, and I will ask your public testimony refrain from making any comments or any statements related to electioneering. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So with that is going to be John Pettit, followed by Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I appreciate the time. Today, once again, I'm going to talk about the proposed budget reduction. First of all, I think that there needs to be a little clarity. The county is not proposing a budget reduction. The county is proposing what would be referred to as a budget reallocation. There's a significant difference. A budget reduction would be to reduce. The county budget is not being reduced. The property tax levies, which are based on an itemized expenditures, which include elected offices, remain the same without reduction. So the levies remain the same. There is a budget reduction would include a property tax levy reduction. It is not. A budget reallocation means to move or transfer. The county budget is seeking to move the previously budgeted amounts from offices and departments to other funds. And I will say it appears the significant majority goes to the general fund. A budget reallocation constitutes to the voiding of the approved 2020 budget made November 5, 2019, and creates a new budget for the second half of 2020. It is not an amendment to the 2020 budget. You can call it what you want, but that's where we end up talking about other possibilities of directions. If you void the county budget, you void the tax levies that are part of the county budget, which means you will need to refund the entire year's worth of property tax. I'm talking both general fund and road fund, because you cannot submit a new property tax levy after November 30th of the previous year. So here is where a little way to consider the current issue. Have any of you ever played Texas Hold'em? I don't think so. You're probably not that big into it, but I'll put it this way. It is time to go all in or to fold on this topic of a budget reduction. Here is my commitment that I'm going to make to the Board of County Commissioners. If you should pass a budget reduction ordinance, I will seek through the Superior Court an action to declare property tax levies as illegal. And to seek an order to refund the entire year's general fund and road fund property taxes to be refunded. If you think you have a budget issue now, try to take a hit of $60 million lost revenue. Stop the insanity of the budget reduction. There is no emergency, no reason. You'll have a higher budget in balance than you ever planned on at the time this budget was passed. Thank you.
Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry Ballard. I am a 35-year veteran. I was born in Washington and reside in Thurston County. I'm here to talk about RCW 73.08, the Veterans Relief Fund, which is 10 pages, and all my commissioners have been grossly mismanaging this fund that belongs directly under them. The indigent people, okay? The indigent people, meaning individuals that belong to, that you have a choice of 4 different definitions that you can belong to. This account also is separate from the health department, and the account should be in the custody of the county auditor or chief financial officer. It says in custody of, not the health department, okay? You're supposed to have a interlocal agreement with the health department, and that covers 7 items. Do you have one? I can't find it if you do. The nationally recognized veterans group, the people that you have been assigned, they're all expired. Some have been on the list for more than 10 years. And the funny thing I get out of this is the health department keeps on giving me a link to an expired standard operating procedure that is done by the board that you probably never approved. Also, there was $60,000 given to the homeless veterans. Did you know in 2018, in a point of time, a PIT report, there was 39 veterans? And this belongs to honorably served, discharged veterans. So these are the 39 that just claimed that they were a veteran. Okay, $60,000 going to 39 veterans for homeless shelters and everything else. Is this in addition to what the health department is giving out of their home consortium fund? I find this very irate. Also, you gave $30,000 to the Veterans Hub. This is 2 years running, okay, for this year and next year. I hope you have an individual list of all those indigent veterans that you helped. And also, we're in the coronavirus. This coronavirus, we have indigent veterans in the coronavirus that need help for rent, need help for payment of their mortgages, need help for food, need help for everything. And this is what this fund's for. I'm just wondering how many veterans have been served by this coronavirus. This is in addition to what the Department of Veterans Affairs provides, and addition to what the Department of Veterans Affairs, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs provides. There is no such thing as a homeless veteran. If you get with one of those organizations that I just mentioned, they will take you, they will house you, they will find you a job, they will train you, they will do everything possible to include drug intervention. Don't have to go through county. They include drug intervention, everything. You don't have to go through the county health department. And one thing in closing, the budget that came out, the health department found $3,500 of excess coming out of the Veterans Fund. This is for your 2%? Really? I'm wondering, how do you divide that with over 290,000 people who may or may not own homes who pay property tax? Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board?
No, sir.
Okay. With that, we're moving on to agenda item number 2, the county manager's update.
I don't have any specific updates for you today.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to agenda item number 3, the consent items A, B, and C.
I move to approve consent items 3A through 3C.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept and approve the consent items 3A, B, and C. Any discussion on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Agenda item number 4, public health and social services. And the first one for, the only one, 4A, is sole source exception.
And I believe we have Jane Mountjoy Benning online. Jane?
Yeah.
I'm here. So this is to.
Jane? Will you introduce yourself and your title first?
Oh, sorry.
Thank
My name is
you.
Jane Mountjoy Benning, Thurston County Environmental Health. I'm a environmental health specialist.
Thank you.
So our section needs to purchase a new piece of water quality monitoring equipment using the sole source exception. We need your approval to do so. This is because we would like to have the same type of equipment that we already have, because there's efficiencies in using the equipment and being able to swap out some of the sensors between the pieces of equipment. It's more efficient to do the calibration that's necessary to have all the same type of equipment in our shop. Questions? So we're asking for you to approve using the sole source exception to procure our water quality monitoring equipment.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Jane regarding this this purchase or request?
No, sir.
No? All right, is there a motion?
Move to approve the sole source exception for procurement of water quality equipment from YXLEM. I don't expect that's a word. Inc. /YSI Inc. for the amount of $13,049.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the sole source exception. Any further discussion on this topic? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Jane. Thank you very much. Next is agenda item number 5, Public Works, resolution declaring an emergency for Boston Harbor wastewater treatment.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager, Public Works. And staff is here today requesting that the board adopt a resolution declaring an emergency for the failure of Boston Harbor Wastewater Treatment Plant electrical infrastructure and controls. On June 17th, 2020, the electrical controls at the Boston Harbor Wastewater Treatment Plant suffered a catastrophic failure. The failure has necessitated the plant to be run in manual mode, requiring the plant to be staffed an extra 6 to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. The plant was designed to be controlled automatically, and the Department of Ecology also prefers this as it minimizes the chance for wastewater treatment process failures. The plant electrical controls are 30 years old and obsolete. Parts are difficult or impossible to obtain. If the plant does not operate correctly, there is a risk of untreated sewage spilling into Puget Sound. The 2020 budget includes $105,009 to replace the electrical control system this year, but the system failed before the project could be bid. Because of the potential negative environmental impacts and the higher labor costs associated with manually operating the plant, the electrical controls and associated electrical work needs to be replaced immediately. A declaration of emergency allows the county to expedite the improvements by dispensing with ordinary statutory bidding requirement pursuant to RCW 36-32270 and RCW 39-04280 when such public works require immediate action. This project is in the current 2020 Public Works budget and the 2020-2025 Capital Facilities Plan. The project is in alignment with the county's strategic plan, Initiative 2 to improve community health, wellness, and safety, Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative 9 support environmental health and climate stabilization. So with that, we are asking that the board move to approve a resolution declaring an emergency for the failure of the Boston Harbor wastewater treatment plant electrical infrastructure and controls, and to dispense with ordinary statutory bidding requirements, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to approve and sign contracts for the replacement and restoration of the electrical infrastructure and controls in an amount not to exceed $95,000.
Thank you, Tim. Any questions of Tim?
No, sir.
No? All right. Thank you very much, Tim. Is there a motion?
I'd move to approve a resolution declaring an emergency for the failure of the Boston Harbor wastewater treatment plant electrical infrastructure and controls, and to dispense with ordinary statutory bidding requirements, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to approve and sign a contract or contracts for the replacement and restoration of the electrical infrastructure and controls, CP number 96002, in an amount not to exceed $95,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a resolution declaring an emergency for the failure of Boston Harbor wastewater treatment plant electrical infrastructure and controls. Any further discussion? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you again, Tim.
Thank you.
That takes us to 5B, setting a public hearing to consider Black Lake Special Use District assessment.
Good afternoon. Staff is requesting that the board set a public hearing to consider a system of assessment to fund a proposed $1.4 million bond as petitioned by the Black Lake Special Use District. The Board of County Commissioners approved the formation of the Black Lake Special District in 2013 and adopted a rate structure for parcels within the district per the recommendation of affected residents. Recent water quality issues, including frequent toxic algae blooms, have left the district looking for treatment options that would require funding above and beyond what their current operational budget will support. The district governing board is requesting the Board of County Commissioners authorize the issuance of a $1.4 million bond with a 20-year term that would be serviced by a proposed special assessment generating $103,000 annually. Public Works and the Prosecuting Attorney's Office have reviewed the proposed special assessment rate structure pursuant to the requirements of RCW 8538. To fund the bond, the Black Lake Special District is requesting the Board of County Commissioners approve special assessments on 179 lakefront properties that have been determined by the district to receive benefit from the improvements. The cost for these properties per the proposed special assessment range from a low of $32 annually to a high of $17,736 annually. The median cost of affected properties would be $575.42 annually. A public process, including a public hearing to be held by the Board of County Commissioners, following both advertisement of the hearing and direct mail notification to all affected ratepayers is required by RCW prior to authorization of issuance. The Board of County Commissioners was briefed on the petition on June 24th and requested an AIS to set a public hearing to be submitted. This action supports Initiative 9 of the county strategic plan to support environmental health and climate stabilization. And with that, staff is requesting that the board move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, July 28th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, room 280, building 1, to accept and consider public comments on a rate increase to fund a proposed $1.4 million bond with a 20-year term to fund a water quality improvement project in Black Lake as requested by the board of the Black Lake Special Use District.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments regarding this item?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Tim, could you explain how you will notify the public and the fact that the public will not be voting on this, but the Board of Commissioners will be voting on this, possibly, if this was to go in front of the Board of County Commissioners, and the importance of them letting the Board of County Commissioners know how they stand on this particular issue, because there'll be no polling and they won't be voting, but we're going to be asked to vote on it. So during the public hearing, how important it might be that they participate in some fashion.
Yes, so we are taking 2 steps to notify the affected ratepayers, the 179 ratepayers. We will be publishing a notification as per RCW, so that is prepared and would be advertised as is the norm. We will also be mailing notices of the public hearing to the addresses of all 179 affected property owners, outlining the proposal, outlining what the impact to them would be. And I would also add that a resolution was passed by the Special Use District at the end of 2019, and I believe there was outreach and communication to the ratepayers from that board to their ratepayers at that time.
Thank you.
Commissioner Menster, anything? All right, Tim, I would just like to also reiterate that the Black Lake Special Use District has their own board, and this is a request of the county for them to assess themselves. But legally, the Board of County Commissioners has to approve that.
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, is there a motion?
Yes, I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, July 28th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, room 280, building 1, 2000 Lakers Drive Southwest, Olympia, Washington, to accept and consider public comments on a rate increase to fund a proposed $1.4 million bond with a 20-year term to fund a water quality improvement project in Black Lake, as requested by the board of the Black Lake Special Use District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for July 28th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Regarding a system of assessment to fund a proposed $1.4 million bond as petitioned by the Black Lake Special Use District. Any further discussion? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Tim, thank you.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item number 6, commissioners reporting on their board work sessions and assigned committee meetings. Commissioner Edwards, I'll start with you.
Most of the meetings that I normally attend have been attended by remote, Zoom, call-in, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure how productive that is, but it does continue government, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I'll be glad when this is over, and I'm not going to report any more than that. And let's wear our face masks and be safe and get this over with as soon as we can.
Right, thank you. Commissioner Mentor?
Thank you. I usually report on the things that I did that were outside of my normal board assignments, unless there's something notable. Last week I did a number of media interviews regarding the airport project, which the commissioners decided not to sponsor Thurston County as one of the lucky finalists for a new SeaTac size facility. We're getting a lot of community input on that, so I wanted to make sure folks were keyed into that. Attended a Thurston Chamber of Commerce webinar where our public health director spoke about the status of our public health response. Attended an interesting presentation by a group called Measures for Justice about the possibilities, some data projects that they're running, working with local jurisdictions to dial up criminal justice dashboards for greater transparency and tracking of data. And given that our county has invested in a brand new case management system, we'll have a lot of these data capabilities. It could be a very interesting synergy to plug some of that capability into a system like this. So it's a conversation that I'd like to have with the board. Over the weekend, I had a chance to go to Tenino for the unveiling of their creative district. It was very nice to get out in the community again, which we used to do a lot of and we haven't been able to do very much of. Everybody was face masked up, but we had a chance to pull the sheet down from a brand new signage that designates Tenino, who had the first creative district application, and it's the 7th approved creative district of the state of Washington. So that was pretty exciting. And then finally, yeah.
Sorry, cheering.
Yeah, District 1 right there. And then finally, yesterday attended the opioid task force where the group, very good participation continues in that group, which is really heartening to see. We actually brainstormed about how to keep the momentum and enthusiasm and sometimes groups come together and sometimes they don't. And this group just really came together, and you don't want to lose the sort of dynamic you have of all those stakeholders together. So kind of brainstormed on ways we could keep the efforts of the group going and vibrant, maybe expanding beyond opioids to larger substance use issues. There are a lot of good ideas, but it's a great group and the work continued on. That's it for me.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Gary, as well. I attended as the COVID-19 shut everything down for quite some time, far too long. As we are re-engaging with the community, the Thurston Chamber of Commerce is not doing ribbon cutting, they're doing ribbon tying ceremonies. And we've each attended, commissioners, we've attended different various ones. And last Friday, I did 4. We did the tag trophies and specialties, 4th Dimension Computers, and PC Technologies. These are all in Lacey. And one of my favorites, Dairy Queen in Olympia, Lilly and Pacific. And again, it's tying our community back together. So doing ribbon tying ceremonies. Those are fun. I listened to the Chamber's declassified. The Chamber and the EDC do a declassified almost like webinar every week. And this one featured Shelley Slaughter, the director of our Public Health and Social Services. She was a guest speaker. Those are very well attended and very interesting as well. I had contacted, Romero talked about this morning, chatted with Representative Orcutt and let me see, Andrew Barkas and JT Wilcox regarding different issues of county importance and COVID importance. And then attended the Coronavirus Relief Fund webinar with, or Zoom with WASAC. And that is all I have at this point. So it is nice to get back down to the community again and see other businesses opening up and restarting. So with that, I'm turning to the county manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for this upcoming week. In these appointments, that is going to be part of my report is where at least 2 commissioners are in attendance. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, July 8th, at 9 in the morning from 9 to 11, you have an executive session where you'll be discussing with legal counsel, representing the agency litigation or potential litigation, and that will be related to the budget cuts that you're considering. Soon after that, at 11, you have a briefing related to Thurston Climate Action Team. We're going to be requesting the board to fund some of their strategies. 1:30 in the afternoon, you have your annual briefing from the Surface Stormwater Advisory Board. Moving on to Thursday, July 9th, you have an 8:30, you have an appeal of a hearing examiner's decision, and you have been briefed on that. And at 9:30, I have set a tentative a budget work session, and the event you may need to continue your conversations on Thursday. Depending on how it goes tomorrow, this may be canceled. Nothing on your combined schedule on Friday, July 10th. Moving on to Monday, July 13th. At noon, you have a Zoom meeting with the Washington State Association of Counties, where fellow commissioners across the state will meet with staff, and the topic will be the coronavirus relief funding. And then you will come back here on Tuesday, July 14th at 9 in the morning, where you'll be reviewing the agenda for the afternoon and the upcoming week. That's all I have for you today.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioners, anything else for the good of the order? Nope. All right. With that, did you have anything, Commissioner Menzer? Okay.
Nope, I'm all
With
good.
that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.